Good morning, my friends. I am back from a week-long trip to Utah, and I am excited to be back working on Big Blue here. Today, we are doing a variety of things in an ever-increasing effort to minimize the amount of clutter that's in this very tiny workspace. We're going to be mounting into the car components, I don't know, accessories, necessaries, essentials. I don't know what you call these things. I talked about them before, but the plan for today is the seat is going to go in, which is going to allow me to sit in the seat and kind of decide where the pedal setup needs to go in. So that's going to go in. We're going to put our cooler in. We're going to put our battery protector in. We're going to put our switch box in. One of my viewers, NC, if you watched my auction video, the question was, did you buy anything? And I didn't buy any cars. I did buy 2 wheels though. And these are the wheels that I bought. So I don't know. I didn't measure what size they were, but I'm gonna put a weld-in center in here so I can use whatever lug pattern I want, and then I'll probably take some plate and just weld up these 4 little gaps here. But I don't even know. I thought they were 15s, but we can measure. I think they're off of like a big lawnmower or something. I don't know. Well, you know what? Or I don't know. I don't measure wheels very often. Do you go from the inside of the bead? If I go from the inside of the bead, they're 15. They're 15s. So they're either 15s or 16s. Either way, they're legal. Well, I know these are 16s. So let's measure these. These are 16s. If I measure these from edge to edge, or yeah, so if I measure these from edge to edge, this says these are bigger than 16s. So I think you do go from the inside. Yeah, so those are probably 15s. And I think they'll be pretty tough. Yeah, these tires are 15s. 27 by 850 by 15. This is only a 4-ply rating, but I was thinking these would be pretty cool foam filled. So yeah, there you go, NC. That's what I got at the auction. And I got both of these wheels and tires for $18. We're gonna get started. Let's move our stuff. The first thing that's gonna go in, as I was saying, is the seat. And this seat I pulled out of a minivan a long time ago. And I like this seat. It's not the greatest seat, but I'll save this seat because this is the first item I ever pulled for Derby from a junkyard. And so, I don't know, I'm kind of sentimental about it, I guess. Here's what I did to it. Just this year, I strengthened it by adding a couple pieces of angle iron here. And then I even strengthened up the holes here by adding some washers. We don't have a lot of options as far as where it's going to go because we already have welded in our back bar. And these Crown Vic tires are going to be a problem. So let me move these real quick. So we're probably just going to cram it as far back as we can go, with the restriction of the back bar that we'll be facing. Once we get it in position, I'm gonna crawl underneath there. I'm gonna mark it. I'm gonna mark through the holes with this Sharpie, and then I'll drill down through from the top. So first thing, let's get this bad boy in here. kind of thinking I like that, honestly. Yeah, because I can go through there, but let's sit in it and see if we're gonna like it. On my old Buick, I had a lot less room between my stomach. Oh yeah, I think this is gonna be really nice right where it sits. Straighten it out a little bit. Got my steering. We'll mount the pedal setup down here. And I think that that's gonna work really, really well. We're gonna bore pretty big holes anyway and use some washers. So again, we eyeball stuff on Crud Builder a lot. All right, this step bit is not long enough to get through, so we are going to find perfect. This is, some of these jobs, guys, I'm not gonna lie, they're hard to do. Sometimes it's hard to do a build on your own, you know? All right, torqued in there. Let's see if I can go underneath. You can see, that's probably backlit. Let me show you from the other side. But you can see in there, had to cut that bolt end off a little bit. It was getting a little high, but there you go. Your seat is in, and so now we will grab the let's grab the pedal setup, set it in there, and sit in the car and see what we want to do. We need to save enough room on the pedal setup so that this brake cylinder has some clearance. Let's sit in the car. Whoops. Might have to. It's gonna be tight. Yes, it is gonna be a little tight. All right, well, I'm gonna kind of mount it at an angle, pretty much at the spot that it's in. The fitting I will cut. Actually, I don't think I'll need to cut, but fitting actually comes out to the side, so I think I'll be okay. There's that big bit that I was looking for. It's not the worst thing in the world if I lose brakes in the middle of the show. I mean, I can't imagine that's what the other cars are for, right? So when it comes to priorities, brakes are like minimum. That might not even be long enough. Nope. Not gonna be long enough. All right, well, we've got pedal setup mounted now. Seat is mounted. I shortened the bolts underneath that were too long. Really, the next step is going to be the switch box, because I want to knock out all the items that I just want to get everything set up to my height and my arms and everything. So the next step is the switch box. So let's sit in the car again. All right, and this pedal setup, it's shorter than I want, honestly. I'm not a tall man, but I would have liked to put it closer to the firewall, but I don't want to cut any more out of the firewall. So here's where I'm sitting. Here's my arm. I want to be able to see the tachometer out of the side of my glance without taking my eye off what's in front of me. So, and this round is where the push button starter goes. So I'm honestly thinking we're gonna mount it right about here. The way that we're gonna mount it is it's got two holes in the side that some long bolts will go through. And those bolts will attach to a piece of angle iron with some holes drilled out of it that I'm going to weld to the side of my mid bar here. So I'm thinking right about here. We don't need this light for now. Let me light. Okay, so the way this is going to work is I could put it right in front of me too. But something like this is the way it's going to go. Like that. All right, there. All right, after using 87 different drill bits, we've got our piece there. Now this piece is going to mount right in there and bolt up. And then once we bolt it up, we're going to weld it and we're going to be done with the switch box. And harder to get in and out of this car. All right, so that's gonna sit just like that. Okay, she's all welded in. Ooh, that's a little hot there. So there she is. So push button here. I can see my tack. I know it's a little backlit probably, but I can see my tack right out of the corner of my eye without having to move. Got all my switches nicely within arm's reach, including my push button. That one's really important. And it's a little goosey there, but that's not bad. I mean, that's what you can expect from a little metal gang box like you get at Home Depot like this. But the other cool thing is these will run all of our wiring out the back, including this tack, and that'll all flow into one big wiring thing that comes up through the firewall, is padded and protected, comes up, goes to the various things that it needs to go to, like the starter, the ignition, all that good stuff. So switch box done. Nice and clean in there now, relatively. And the first thing that we're going to be mounting is our battery protector. It's built for 2 batteries of that size. To give you an idea, the old one that I used last season was built for a single battery, and this is it. It was 2 pieces of angle iron welded together. With some rod welded on the outside. Battery would slide in there, and then I would run a ratchet strap between these two outer pieces of angle iron, 4 bolt holes. Anyway, I still have it. It's janky, it's Crud built. I built this new one that's much nicer. It's gonna bolt in 4 places, same as before. It's gonna hold 2 batteries, and it's gonna have this nice top plate piece that can bolt down. The way that we're gonna mount it is like this. Actually, we're gonna go all the way up, a little bit close to the firewall. I'm sorry, a little bit closer to the cage. Reason for that is, well, we might even go back a little bit, but reason is, remember, we're going to be cutting a channel out of this hump here for that big boy, the transmission brace, and so we don't want this to be too close to that and interfere with our efforts there. So this bit's been going pretty strong for me, so I'm going to keep a good thing going. I'm actually going to bolt these 3 on, tighten them down, and then do the last one, because I think it's going to pull the floor up, which is okay. That's what I want, kind of. All right, where did the socket wrench go? Okay. Battery holder is in and very strong. Now that the battery protector is in, we're gonna put in the cooler. Now, I know I showed you guys in a previous video this cooler that I built. It's got all sorts of copper wire snaking through there. But my buddy Cody gave me this one for free, so I think I'm gonna use it. It's just got very simple little radiator core in here, and you just run one line in, out, whatever. Fill this with ice and water and run those lines to your transmission, and you're gonna have a nice cool transmission. And this is how this baby is gonna go. Well, the GoPro died, my friends, so we are gonna finish this video up using the old iPhone. So what I did was I had to put a few washers under there to raise that up because I was barely getting clearance, but now I have clearance. I've got, let's take this off. Can. All right, there you go. Now you can see hopefully pretty good under there. There's 1, 2, that was a long bolt there, 3 and 4. So cooler is in. We've got decent amount of clearance between the battery protector. These lines are going to come and kind of do a 90-degree and then head over towards the transmission. This still opens nicely. I am a little worried about the clearance right here. And the reason for that is if this starts to get pushed in, I'm just worried that is not much. But what can you do? So that is in, and we can close that. So we have got cooler, battery protector, switch box, seat, pedal setup. We are in really good shape. Gas tank was in from the previous video. I've got a lot of footage, guys, so I think I'm going to wrap this one up. I was going to do the seat belt, but I'll do that in a separate video with more when I do more cleanup items. So easy video today, guys. Just freeing up shop space by putting stuff, mounting stuff in the car. You know, let me know what you think, and we will see you on the next one. So later, guys.